to be fair to them, they kept going, man. You know, people were thinking, well, Tottenham, are they going to just drop off now and just see if we can just keep them off us? They just kept going.
Yeah,
might as well.
The biggest rivals last year were Arsenal. We felt the biggest threat, and when they played Arsenal last year in the 2 league games and I think the FA Cup, they were so far ahead of them. Whereas this year you looked at Arsenal, so that will give them the belief that they can compete against them and obviously beat them. Whereas I don't know if they had that real belief last year, but I think if you're in Arsenal's camp, you must think, do you know, lads,
I'm the same.
Definitely have a chance.
Hit the like button, people. Subscribe to the Fan Channel review show this morning. Lots to go into. We're looking at the overlap as they talk about Arsenal. They talk about Manchester United's dressing room problems. Very well worth a listen to that. We're listening to some interesting stuff from Simon Jordan at Talk Sport. And of course, reactions to last night's game as well. So hit the like button if you've not done so already. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. You've got to turn the bell notifications on. If you haven't done that yet, you are going to miss content because YouTube doesn't like sending out notifications. So please get that done. I know a lot of you have done it, but I need more of you to turn that on. Let's get back to these clips.
I think Arsenal not playing well and getting the points they are is a good sign, because I think the football will come. Are you yet thinking that Arsenal might do it, or are you just not moving from...
Oh, no, I think they've got a decent chance. And it just... When I've watched Arsenal this season, this time last season, I was probably more impressed with them. This season, I can't quite work out if these last-minute goals are a good thing.
Well, winning goals last minute are definitely good, Jamie. It's definitely good to win games.
In terms of like, you know, you've got to score last-minute winning goals to win a title. That's just the fact.
Well, then it's a good thing then. And that's what I find so interesting about this analysis, is that whenever I've seen Liverpool, whenever I've seen City, Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal of old, win games late, not play at their brilliant best that we know they can get to and still win football matches, it's always been seen, always been discussed as the sign of a champion. Not the guarantee of a champion, but the sign of a champion. Arsenal start doing it due to the hatred, the annoyance, the frustration, the rivalry, whatever you want to call it. It seems to get questioned no end. They say this, and then out the other side of their mouths, they say, I mean, just know they can play so much better as well. Well, if you know they can play better, you know it's about a handful of attackers coming into form. Defensively, they've been so strong this year. Yes, they conceded 3 against Luton. That was goalkeeping errors for 2 of those goals. That is not a sign that Arsenal have got a weak back line.
But it feels like it's happened so often that those games can sometimes easily go the other way. It
is true. They can go the other way, but that's been the same for every champion mentioned in the past. They've played 14 Premier League games this season. 4 of them have been won with relatively late goals. A couple of them literally final kicks of the game. Go back and watch some of City's title-winning seasons of late and then add up out of 38 games how many are won late on. I guarantee you it will be anywhere between 5 to 10 each time. It's not an anomaly. It's we are now hyper-focusing on it, or the media's hyper-focusing on this to try and, in my personal opinion, discredit Arsenal. And we know why they're doing that. Because Arsenal have been the punching bags, they have been the money maker for these media outlets for a long time, and they're raging. They're genuinely raging that their predictions about the manager, their predictions about Arsenal not coming true. And I'll tell you as to why. They all said just over a year or so ago, they all said it 100% with. In fact, let's just take a look at what was said.
So there's history of teams going close to a title, getting that experience, and then going again. I don't see that with Arsenal. I don't. And I just think this season's chance was massive, because no one in this room actually thinks Arsenal are better than Man City, but you're thinking, could they win the league this season because maybe City have got games, or they were getting used to Haaland at the start, or they're not playing the normal football that they play. Something wasn't quite right, as the City fans said throughout the season. We're not the same. And you think, could Arsenal nick the title this season? And then you think of next season, you think of the other big teams coming back as well, who can't have as poor a season. And Arsenal can still improve, and I think they will improve next season. But I still don't think they're going to be, whatever it was, 7-8 points clear in March.
So they're 6 points clear, but it's in November. Now, that doesn't mean Arsenal winning the league before anybody jumps down my throat. But Arsenal were written off before this season even begun. I've got to credit Gary Neville, who has said they've improved on the areas that I criticised them in last year. Therefore, he's made them these title favourites based on a few factors, including City maybe maybe not quite having the motivation, as it were. And this is my problem with a lot of analysis nowadays. You're right. 2 seasons running, Arsenal have been written off before the new season has begun. And then people talk outside the other side of their mouths. They're almost ignoring the things they criticize Arsenal for in the first place. And I think that's been exposed, in my personal opinion, absolutely massively here. The exposure is real.
I did not have sexual
about Manchester
relations
United's cultural issues. Nemanja Matic, an experienced player who's at United for a number of years, revealed this week that at Manchester United he had to instigate a fine system due to lateness, and that Pogba and Sancho were the main culprits. In the COVID season, they racked up £75,000 of fines that they were going to spend on a party in London. I'm not quite sure whether I'm most shocked by the fact that they've racked up £75,000 in fines, or that they weren't going to give the £75,000 to the charity or a backroom staff and they were going to spend it on a party in London. But
you're paying yourself, aren't you?
What does that tell you? I mean, that's probably... I mean, look, there aren't many players in this last 5 or 6 years that have come out who've left the club. You know, Cristiano obviously did his big interview, but there aren't many players who've come out and sort of give us an insight into the culture.
We didn't need to hear this. I'm not particularly angry at Pogba or Sancho. It's unprofessional. We've seen them criticised. We know they've been criticised. We know the issues that surrounded those two as individuals. But let's not pretend like it's just those two. Look at the punishment system that was in place. And Matic just kind of told this story. I don't think he's throwing anybody under a bus. He's just talking. But they fine players for being late. And those fines rewarded them as players, and it paid for I assume £75,000 is going to get you a pretty good party. I've never spent £75,000 on a party, but I bet it's amazing. People don't spend that on their weddings. Normal people, that is, working class people like us. So even in trying to punish and hold each other to account, you get away with it. You get a nice lavish party. On top of that, it's just one of the many issues that is wrong at Manchester United. The lack of discipline, the lack of professionalism, the lack of a winning culture. Anybody that is regularly late to work fouls. Anybody that is regularly late to work, turns up late, isn't on point, is not prepared. And I mean this about people generally in life. You've got that member of staff, that colleague you work with, who doesn't care that you're all waiting. Doesn't care that there could be clients waiting. Doesn't care about anybody else but themselves. People that are late on a regular basis, they don't even like you. As a general rule, they don't even like you. They're like, well, I know he told us 1 o'clock. I'm going to turn up at 2:30. That is a disrespect. It's a disrespect. Now, when it's amongst you and your closest friends, it's different, because my relationship with my friends is on a professional level. Outside of that, if people are regularly turning up late, they're sending you a message. I also don't just think it's Sancho. I don't just think it's Pogba. I guarantee you this is absolutely rife throughout the whole club. And it won't just be lateness. It's leaking information to the press. It's making yourself look better than your colleagues. And so whether, they're both leaks in different ways. We've got absolute problems at this club. And last night against Chelsea was a really nice moment. It was a really nice win and a good performance. But so much internally, so much deep-rooted problems at this club need to be fixed by Sir Jim and Blanc when they come in. It is unbelievable. I'm not riding out here against the Sanchos and the Pogbas. Some say you should. I believe this is more about looking at the root cause problem as opposed to attacking individuals that are just a symptom of the wider issues at Manchester United. This is why we've been dead, though. It's hilarious now that the media are acting so shocked by this. We've been talking about this for years.
I can't believe it. I was just waiting to see who'd scored it, whether there was going to be an offside. He's done it again. Scott McTominay. I tell you what, this lad, when he's in the penalty box, he is colder than Jack Frost's arse in an ice bath.
Nacho, come on, we have to make one of these count.
Garnacho chips one. Asta! There we go!
I love about that, right? We have to make one of these count. I was shouting that on my TV screen last night for about 50 minutes.
Scotty too hot, he gets his second
Scotty's too
goal.
hot. That's when I used to watch wrestling when Scotty Too Hot. Is Scotty Too Hot still about? Or has he changed his name? Let me know.
Oh, what a beautiful ball out with Garnacho. And it all starts with Harry Maguire coming through the middle of the park. Really good play. Really well worked.
Here come United again. Look at the space. Garnacho on the left. Easy. Look at the... Oh.
You guys! Hey! He's done! Give us the win, yo! He's gone. He's actually gone.
It's Garnacho. Played back post in. 2-1.
Played him, back post, goal, 2-1. Fuming! He's like a swan, though. On the surface, it looks so calm, but underneath.
Offside.
Offside! The desperation! How dare you!
How dare you!
It's game over.
Just concede, man. Honestly, I'm fucking done with this game.
Just
Honestly,
concede.
I really just don't care anymore.
Just
fucking piss me off as it is. Yeah, there it is, 2-1. I don't care. Just fucking end this game. I don't care anymore. Genuinely don't care. I've not cared since
Matisse, I love you. I genuinely love Matisse. I love his content, but this is beautiful to watch. It's beautiful.
I started watching this shit, bro.
It's amazing. I get the frustration of Chelsea fans yesterday because they were so... I can't speak for... I didn't actually watch what Matisse said before, but they were so confident as a general rule. The amount of Chelsea fans that were in my DMs, they were on my streams, we're going to smoke you, we're going to kill you, we're going to destroy you. Walking off their streams, bruv. You go, man like Don have to admitting that they are in a crisis. It's just nice.
Nice. You've had to shuffle your pack. You've had some injury problems. You've got all these games. You're still going strong in Europe, in the League Cup, in the FA Cup. You're going to Crystal Palace. Your favourite kick-off time.
Oh my God!
But I mean, that's the price of success.
That's really brave to make a joke about that. Really. Yeah.
He's got no sense of humour, this man, has he? Why is he getting these? It was a very light-hearted joke, Jurgen.
But you've still got the passion, you've still got the enjoyment. I mean, it's constant, isn't it? Day in, day out.
Side to side with his frustration. He's like, I want to get away from here. Yeah.
It is constant, yeah. Now we go home. I don't know exactly when we arrive. What is now? Susanna, it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2 a.m., whatever. Yeah, and then we play again.
He's so rattled. You just won. You're ahead of City, a couple points off top. You've complained about that kickoff time. It's a little joke. Do you know what? I think it's a negative thing for him to do that. I'll tell you as to why. I think it's planting another seed in the minds of these Liverpool players that there's a problem playing at that time of the day. Why is he so upset about it? I know Liverpool fans are going to defend him, and I want to understand why you're backing him here. I've seen a few Liverpool fans on Twitter say that it's an unprofessional thing to do. I don't think it's unprofessional for a host to make a light-hearted joke in this circumstance. If they'd just lost and he was fuming and angry, I would kind of understand. But you've just won. I genuinely don't understand it at all.
I think it's an attack on the free press. The press don't have a God-given right to do precisely what they want. They don't have a God-given right to put their version of events and spin it the way they want to, which is often the way that the press operates and the way that the press interpret things. And I'd make Alex Ferguson right. Journalistically, at times, people misrepresent, misdirect, and create their own version of events. And in this instance, if this story doesn't have much legs on it, and if it does have lots of legs on it, why didn't they bother checking with Man United? It's a hugely divisive story.
Well, what were United going to say?
Well,
hold on, you're right.
But hold on.
You're right. There is 50. No, it's 40%.
No, I wouldn't suggest that they would say that. What I would suggest they would say is that they can't now say what they're saying now, which is, you didn't give us the right to respond to this. This is a hugely divisive story, a very difficult time. That's why it's dropped in this way. If they went to United and United went no comment, then United couldn't trot this out. They couldn't turn around and say, You didn't give us the right to respond.
Simon Jordan's right on this. Simon Jordan's 100% right. I've seen a lot of people, by the way, who consistently criticize the media for being liars, fabricators, PR merchants, making up transfer stories, making up horrible stories. Suddenly everybody's backing the media, like the media have never done anything wrong. Like they are the bastions of honesty. And I find it very, very intriguing indeed. I know people hate Man United, so they want to bash them over the head. I get what Lee Gunner said the other day, Man United want to control the narrative. Of course they do. Of course they do. Man United want to control the narrative. Everybody wants to control the narrative about everything they love and everything they are. Lee wants to control the narrative about himself. I want to control the narrative about me. You want to control the narrative about you. It's a normal reaction and shouldn't be criticized. But the media have a responsibility to say, we've been told this story. We know it's going to be inflammatory. We know it's going to create an issue. Do you care to comment? Do you care to respond? Now, I've had this conversation with Ben Jacobs very, very deeply about this subject. And essentially, when a journalist puts out a story, they have to be 100% sure of their sources. And one thing that Ben says he always does is whenever he gets told anything, a transfer story, a takeover, a problem, is he checks it with multiple other sources. He goes to the people in question. He asks their opinion. And he said that sometimes he holds back on even talking about, say, a transfer story because a club might have told him, yeah, we're interested in, I'm going to make a player up here, Joe Bloggs. He contacts Joe Bloggs' agent and Joe Bloggs' agent says, we've had no contacts whatsoever. He then may contact another journalist or two that are very well connected and go, I've heard nothing about this. So he doesn't run the story. Because what he doesn't want to do is damage his relationship with people. Now, that isn't being a PR merchant. That's being a professional. What he doesn't want to do is damage his credibility when he isn't sure about something. Man United should have been given the right to reply. We may have said no comment. And that no comment pretty much tells you this is a non-story. Maybe Man United turn around and go, I don't know where you got this information from, but the manager's got a great relationship with his staff. And maybe we release a full statement to this journalist. Then at least in the article, you'd have a reply, and then the audience can say, okay, well, one source has said this, but the club have come out and said that. It gives you, the audience, an opportunity to make up your mind. And that is what proper journalism should be. This is the story. These are the facts. This is the responses. And then human beings process all that information and make their own mind up. That is what should happen. I think Simon Jordan is right here in this instance. It doesn't even mean that the story isn't true, but you should be listening. And I think this is a lesson for life. No matter what you think, what you believe, what you look at, how you feel about a situation, listen to both sides of an argument, ingest it, reflect on it, maybe before you make your mind up. And I think that's what you should do when you read articles. And I know this to be a fact. People don't read articles, they read headlines. The amount of times I'll quote something from an Ornstein article, people go, he hasn't tweeted that, Terry. Why are you making it up? You clearly don't read his articles then, do you? It's important. Listen, people, hit like buttons. Make sure you are subscribing. A feature-length show today, a longer show than normal as well. But there was so much to go through. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll be seeing you all again soon. Peace!